calls himself the Snowman Killer.
Hey you, melted snow people, I'm John Snowman. And I'm here to talk to you about the movie that I fucking hate with every bone in my body.
Building snowmen, cutting things up into little pieces.
And the thing is, I'm not even the fan of the original source material. Hell, I'm not even a fan of dark Scandinavian detective stories. But damn, this movie is so insulting that, well, let me try to explain to you, okay? Alright, so my first version of the video was just me losing my mind while trying to explain this movie, and it just devolved into cursing for like 5 minutes straight, so no worries, I'm calm now, I hope, so let me try to explain this monstrosity to you.
You can't force the pieces to fit.
You could have saved them.
I first want to tell you what is happening in this movie. At least a short version of it, so we could be both on the same page. If you already seen this movie, use timestamps if I won't forget to add them. I probably will. Well, anyways, at the remote cabin, a boy and his mother, Sarah, are visited by an abusive biological father, a police officer named Jonas.
Mom, Uncle Jonas is here.
Jonas strikes and sexually assaults Sarah, who threatens to tell Jonas' wife about the illegitimate son.
I'm going to tell your wife that he's your son.
Jonas leaves and Sarah follows him in his car with her son. During the chase, she drifts into a weird state, letting go of the steering wheel.
Mom.
The boy escapes as the car crashes into the lake. Well, it's not really crashing, it's just sinking. Despite his pleading, the mother remains seated and sinks to the bottom.
Don't leave me!
More on this scene later on. Years later, Harry Hall is an inspector with the Norwegian Police Service Oslo district. He struggles with alcoholism and recent breakup with Raquel. I don't know. Mother of a boy named Oleg. And he's sort of Harry's half son, not really son, but he treats him like son.
But you're not her boyfriend anymore.
So,
Anyway, after receiving a mysterious letter signed with a childish drawing of a snowman, Harry meets new recruit Catherine Brad and accompanies her investigation into the disappearance of a local wife.
missing persons.
Yeah, it's a woman. The call just came in.
Now, the two find a snowman at the victim's home. Some time passes, Harry realizes that Catherine has taken police files without permission. He learns she's looking for the link between several missing persons cases and another case from 9 years before.
How long has she been missing?
This case was investigated by an alcoholic inspector named Gert something. And it's sort of clear immediately that it's her father, but, whatever.
Rafto just arrived. Perfect. The drunk and the half-wit.
Catherine convinces Harry to join a new investigation into the disappearance of another woman, whom they find alive and well at the farm. Wait, what? Okay.
Sylvia Otterson. I'm Sylvia Otterson.
Shortly after they leave, a masked figure beheads the woman with some sort of tool thingy. Then, a call comes in requiring Henry specifically to return to the farmhouse.
Well, the call came in 2 minutes ago. Her husband asked specifically for Inspector Holt.
There, they meet a twin, which at first they think it's the woman, but then...
Right.
I'm Anna Peterson. Sylvia's my sister. We're twins.
They find the body, and then they find the head on a snowman. Catherine believes corrupt businessman Arvo something is responsible for the deaths. Traveling to Bergen to investigate further, Harry runs into Raquel's new boyfriend, Matthias, whatever, a cosmetic surgeon, and realizes he forgot he had promised to take Oleg, on a camping trip on the same day.
The school trip. Weren't you supposed to... Oh, shit.
Kind of forgets a lot of things in this movie. I mean, I guess the alcoholic part does that. In Bergen, Harry finds that the inspector, who died like 9 years ago, apparently had a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. We sort of figured this out long ago, but Harry only now discovers that Catherine is this inspector's daughter. Harry is kind of slow, and the movie is slow. But anyway, it's discovered that the recent victim each visited the clinic of Dr. something,
Yet Rebecca had an appointment with the same doctor.
who also oversees the rich businessman high-class prostitution ring, which is a thing. When one of the missing women's phone is reactivated, the signal is traced to the house of this doctor.
We picked up a signal from a missing person's phone. Case number MP2.
Catherine goes to arrest the doctor herself, only to find him seemingly doing the same as her father, with a gunshot wound to the head. She also finds the remains of a few missing persons, so the police rules the death as a suicide, and basically the case closed, right? He killed himself and we found the bodies in his house.
It was a suicide. Case closed.
Of course, Catherine doesn't believe that, so she breaks protocol, hoping to trick the businessman into confessing to killing her father, basically flirting with him at a public event. He invites her to his hotel room, where she sets up a hidden camera, but to no avail. She is attacked and drugged by a masked figure who serves a finger off her right hand. The attacker then uses this finger to unlock her work table and wipe all the data. The next morning, Harry finds Catherine's dead body inside a car, decorated by an outline of a snowman on the roof. Raquel, the love interest, visits Harry, admitting she is conflicted basically and misses him. They sort of start to try hump and make out until they have a phone call from the Matthias character.
Just tried calling you on the landline.
I'm at Harry's.
Yeah?
Following a lead left behind by Catherine, which is just a video of him saying that he and his wife went to see a doctor, not only his wife.
How am I supposed to remember what day we saw her?
Sir, I'm just trying to find your wife. Please help me.
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw her?
Harry reinterviews one of the husband of the woman, just to find out that they were consulted by a hormone specialist. And Harry sort of figures out it is the Matthias character.
Do you know his name?
Meanwhile, Matthias kidnaps Raquel and Oleg. I'm mispronouncing them names, whatever. Taking them to the cottage in some remote place. Harry locates the cottage and finds Matthias holding the mother and the child hostage. So now, Matthias is revealed to be the boy from the first scene, hating his mother for abandoning him and eventually targeting mothers whom he judges are harming their children. It's, again, more on this later, it's kind of unclear, but after a very weird scene, Harry manages to free Raquel from the harness, but also loses a finger. Matthias escapes and Harry chases him onto a frozen lake. Our bad guy then shoots Harry. I'm here! Come on! And then listens to him and doesn't shoot again. Instead, he starts walking towards him, and then the ice beneath him breaks apart and he falls into the water, dragging beneath. How was he like having a tank in his pocket? What? Okay. So the final scene shows Harry having had his missing finger replaced by a metal thingy, volunteering for a new homicide case where the weapon is also weird. Yay! What a movie! Like a lot of other books, especially in detective series, the Snowman is a part of what is called the Harry Hole series. Yes, the translators went with Hole as the surname. Well, add to it the name like Harry, and it sounds like
Harry Hole, Harry Hole, Harry Hole, Harry Hole, Harry Hole.
Alright, so coming back to my point, if I asked you which book you think the Snowman is in the order, what would you guess? Well, we know that it's not the first book since we're having this conversation. So, what's your guess? The third, the fourth, how about the seventh? Yeah, they chose to introduce Harry Hole to the big screen starting from the seventh book. Okay. Now, some of you might say, hey, a lot of these series are self-contained adventures that have only a bit of overall story. Yeah, I agree, but you also kind of pointed something out. There is an overall story. There are characters, referenced, events that shaped our main protagonist, right? And that might be the case why, for me, Harry Hole feels such a non-character. He seems like a guy that drinks. Oh no, less sad guy. And it would be a bit more explainable if we literally jumped in the middle point of his character development. Since even if the books are self-contained, you can't redevelop the same thing and on the same character over and over again, right? But like, why not start from the first? Hell, the second book. Was it that bad? Was it unadaptable? Was it somehow very unpopular while the seventh book somehow was a worldwide hit? I can't really think of any logical reason why they made this decision. Oh, and I'm going to throw in another spicy opinion, but I don't really believe that as an author, your seventh book in a series is going to be your best work. Like, sure, you're probably improved in writing styles and character developments, but you also probably have used a lot of your best ideas and creativity on the first 6 books. So I'm not saying it's impossible, just that the longer things go on, the more stale they usually become. And reading reviews online about the book, well, it's not bad, but most people tend to call it kind of bland. Again, no one is calling it the worst thing ever, so is the Snowman movie bad just because it's based on the 7th book in the series? Oh fuck no. Because you see, they changed a lot from the book. Most importantly, well, okay, I'll ask you this. Doesn't the whole premise of a serial killer who's so good he's been able to toy with the cops, who's also has time to build snowman sounds, kind of stupid?
Building snowmen, cutting things up into little pieces. He's taunting us.
Like, you would sort of expect it to be not necessarily a dark comedy, but to take itself not so seriously. And in the book, there are dark jokes, and it feels, even if bland, well, self-aware. The author isn't pushing you saying how masterful or serious the scene you're experiencing is. He's more like standing back with you saying, wow, that's fucked up. It's a bit of a schlock, if you pardon my language.
You sure he was alone? Where's Katrine?
The movie, on the other hand, takes itself 100% seriously, and it kind of feels pretentious about it. It sorta doesn't want you to express that stupid emotion as a valid one. And with a concept like this, you need to have this breathing space, or you start to sort of fall off with the movie's vibe.
He was watching us the whole time.
No, really, like, tell me, when you see a snowman in a movie, what should you be afraid of? Just think about that the killer had to spend quite a time carefully rolling balls of snow in perfect shapes. Then he had to stack them, probably wearing little comfy gloves. And then, he had to be carrying things for the face and hands, or just go around looking for that stuff. That's not scary or super duper smart predator behavior. That's like pathetic man-child, goo goo gaga, where's my mama type of shit.
He was watching us the whole time.
And the movie somehow thinks it's like the scariest thing. Oh no, after this movie you will not be able to see a snowman in real life without being scared. Get this fucking shit out of here. Create a scary and smart villain, or be self-aware. It's not that freaking difficult, guys. Come on. Like, you already have everything there, and you fuck it up so badly? God damn. Okay, right, so we have two. It's the 7th book, and it lacks self-awareness. Is that it? Nope. We don't stop, since the movie doesn't stop changing the story.
He was watching us the whole time.
The most confusing change is our villain motives and backstory. Yeah, they changed that for some reason. Like, what's even the point in adapting a book then? But okay, let me tell you 2 different backstories for a villain, and you tell me which one makes a bit, a lot more sense.
And here you are.
Our character is a kid, well, nearly a teen, who is riddled with genetic disease, which means he will live a painful and, more importantly, shorter life. He's already sort of mentally unstable, at least a bit, but then he sees his mother, who is still married to his father, mind you, have sex with another man. And not only that she's cheating, that man has similar genetic signs, or whatever. That boy realizes this man is, well, his actual father. Just as a side note, the guy has no nipples, which I just really wanted you to know that. But this, in the boy's head, means that his mother was not only an unfaithful wife, but by doing so, by being so selfish, she brought him into the world not from his father, but from someone with, well, a disease, sort of dooming him to a life of pain and torture just because she needed her coochie scratched?
What do you mean by that?
This, of course, doesn't sit well with our villain, and he kills his mother and then becomes a serial killer who targets mothers who are unfaithful to their, well, second halves, and specifically the ones where the child is not of the father. Again, in his eyes, it's not just that they lied or cheated on her husband, it's that the child was from another man, and the mothers were so selfish that they allowed this to even happen. Right, so that was a lot, but let's hear the second one. In the movie, our bad guy lives with his mother, alone, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. A random police officer comes. Well, the kid calls him uncle. Then, for some reason, the police officer gives the kid a history quiz and then beats the mother when the kid gets it wrong? I mean, I guess education is important.
August 12th, 1945.
Then, the kid builds a snowman, seemingly running away, being afraid or angry, while the mother and the guy have sex. Okay. The kid sees that, and the mother decides to tell the guy's wife that the kid is his. Mind you, that this is the guy who beaten the mother like 5 seconds ago, and which the kid was afraid of.
Then you never see me again.
Oh, and another side note, do people have windows from one room into another? I have never seen this in my entire life. What would be the use for it? Is it a baby room? What the fuck? Okay, so coming back to the movie, the uncle decides to leave, and the kid immediately goes, "Oh no, that villain who was assaulting my mother, which I care about deeply, is about to leave and not hurt my mother anymore." Alright, let's say that the kid is just overwhelmed by the whole revelation, right? But as the guy leaves, the mother fucking changes her mind. For some reason, driving after the guy like he was her best and only lover in the world. Then she just gives up, and then they swirl off the road into an icy lake. The car begins to sink, and the mother just sits there while the kid watches her go under. So, years on, the kid grows up to kill women who have secretly done abortions or don't know the child's father. His whole point is sort of that the mothers don't deserve to live.
Was it right for Sylvia Otterson to kill her unborn child simply because she couldn't keep track of who the father was?
So, which one of these two makes more sense to you? Hating mothers who have children with different men without letting the real fathers know, thus not only cheating on the dad, but sort of on the child itself, withholding the information, or a crazy guy who kills a woman who had an abortion because his mother went crazy over a guy who was beating her, and then the mother drove into a lake and did this and that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but do you see how the movie takes away the whole idea of hating the sickness, that this brought on our character? Not only being born out of cheating, but like literal diseases in his body. Do you see how it removes the killer's actual agency? His mother just sat there in the car. It wasn't violent. There wasn't any indicators of the kid's choice or any signs that, he will become a killer. In fact, there are no real initiating events, at least one that we would actually see in the movie. While the book does sort of everything needed in the opening, including showing that the killer is, the killer and will become someone fucked up. Like, what in the movie's opening would even suggest that the kid, crying pathetically over his mother, is going to be a bad guy? And if there's nothing to suggest that, well, then the whole scene kind of wastes your time. Okay, so we have the three things, right? Not the first book, no self-awareness, and changing the killer's motive. But as I mentioned before, Harry himself feels like a non-existing character. What I mean is that for most of the movie, he's bland, uncharismatic, uninteresting, just having the same constant look on his face.
At restaurants, at home.
Everyone around us keeps saying what crazy good character he is, what crazy good detective he is, but throughout the movie, he doesn't do anything but drink.
When I first saw your picture in the papers, with all those medals,
I mean, even the drinking is never a thing that he actually fights. or that hinders the case or anything. Like, sure, he misses his not son's game or things a few times, but it doesn't really feel like part of the character. For example, a movie called The Wolf of Snow Hallows does this great. Throughout it, we cut to a cabin in the kitchen. At first, you're like, why are we doing this? But as the tension rises and the main character faces more and more difficulties, we understand that, well, there's alcohol in that cabin. And for a person that is truly suffering from this addiction, that would feel like a salvation, escape, right? In The Snowman, it doesn't feel like anything. He just drinks sometimes, and we don't even like see him drinking, we just see him sleeping all the time. And if I'm correct, his whole drinking thing and him needing to drink or wanting to drink doesn't really even come up in the second half of the movie. To get a better understanding, I like burnout characters. I like tired people, fucked up with the system, who are just jaded. But this isn't even a detective story. It doesn't work like that. Characters just kind of do shit. And if you watch the movie, please tell me, apart from the surface level, what type of mystery there was, who was the killer, right? So what did we have? A few red herrings and the bad guy is super close to the good guy?
With all those medals, I thought that man must have a perfect family.
In fact, we start losing so much track on what we actually supposed to solve with the character that we can't really participate in this whole detective thing. So yeah, oh boy, no one could ever come up with a story like this. Nah, son, the climax of the story has to be personal.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
Talking about the detective work, I've watched the movie again and followed every clue that we as the audience get. And oh boy, it's just... As I said before, the opening sets up the stage, but fails to showcase the killer's intent or, well, intentions in the future. It does show coffee beans being used. These will be placed in snowmans later on in the movie, so, I'll give it that. It also does show the snowman and the whole building stuff, but why the snowman? Like, the guy leaving looks at the snowman also for no reason. So it's really weird that it's like connected to him, to this event. Later on, most characters that are established just kind of disappear. And honestly, the police seems to be doing like terrible job. It's like, yes, this suicide is a suicide. And then Harry walks into the scene, takes like 2 seconds and goes like, oh, you can't actually like shoot yourself with a shotgun like this. And I guess the police officers and experts weren't able to like find that out. Like, if the killer was a different person, that would make more sense. He has maybe power or some connections. But now it just seems like the police officers in this country are just like, yep, whatever, dude. Okay, like, if you live in these countries, is it really like that? Does just like, do police just say, yep, whatever?
How do you do that with a shotgun? It's too long. You'd have to angle it. Pellet mark should be up there somewhere.
And if you look from like a certain perspective, basically we didn't solve anything. Like, the whole climax and the whole solution to this movie was just the killer deciding to go all out and be like, well, like, Sure. The crazy information was that these people went to see the doctor the doctor was our villain, but it once again uses one of the lamest fucking things you can do in writing. When characters in bad situations and high distress don't say the actual truth, and the thing is, the truth is just like, oh, something embarrassing, and you're like, wait a minute.
But you told my colleague you both went to see him.
She must have misheard me.
Okay, think about it this way. If you can cut 50-60% of your story by one person just telling the truth, you probably made a bad detective story. Yeah, just lame, just weak, just absolutely weak detective thing. Add to this, the movie uses red herrings sort of incorrectly. If you don't know, a red herring is a literally tool. If you don't know, a red herring is a storytelling tool that is used in mostly mysteries and crime stories to misdirect the viewer's suspicion to the wrong target. Having a few of them in your story can make it feel more dynamic and eventful. And red herrings can feel natural. Like, this is a police investigation. They don't just find the killer on the very first try. They have suspects. There are suspects that at the end turn out to be completely unrelated or innocent. But that's the thing. A red herring works only if their point is completed. And we have real arguments of why they were suspected in the first place. If the movie can't do that, can't justify its own actions, then the viewer can feel less like they are watching a police investigation and more just stuff you made along the way. In other words, red herrings can be a great tool in storytelling, but it needs to be used correctly, not to waste readers' time and energy. You want the reader to be frustrated at the cops, not at the book itself, or in this case, a movie itself.
You know it wasn't that creep. Vetlison didn't commit suicide.
So, how many red herrings do we have in the story? And what's the deal with them? Well, let's go on to a magical exploration. First, we get this guy with a hazmat suit cleaning Harry's apartment. He's sort of weird and doesn't react to a gun being fired and pointing at him. He fucking doesn't react. What? Okay. Alright, so this guy is the first person apart from Harry that we meet in the story. So you might think, oh, he's important and he's acting, again, weird. So he might be the killer? Nope. He has basically two scenes in the movie. This scene.
Dry rot throughout the whole building, and I'm afraid we found some mold behind the walls.
And then later on, he's standing outside the tattoo parlor just at the right moment to show that it wasn't him. And that is it for this guy. Yeah, we don't see him ever again. And the thing is, it immediately kills off the mystery, because we could have, kept this going on, right? Not showing this guy here and being like, was that this guy? Was that the killer? But no, the movie just sort of reveals it immediately. And do you usually stand in the middle of the street at night, holding a dog, not doing anything, just standing there? Why is he here? Why is he holding a dog?
Oh my fucking god.
Hey! Oi, mate!
And the thing I want you to realize is that throughout a lot of this movie, there are no suspects that we can actually point towards. and if they appear, they immediately get like denied. Nope. So next up, we have the husband of the first victim. He is shown here creepily looking through the glass, so he might be the killer. He is portrayed kind of creepy, and he storms out angrily, I guess. So this could work if we didn't have the scene before that. You're telling me that this hot-headed man waited for his wife patiently to get out of work, then threw a snowball at her, follow her back at their own home in the car she doesn't recognize? So he immediately falls off the suspect list, and the movie is like, yep, his alibi checks out. And the story even is like, yeah, he's been crying because
I saw Daddy cry.
When?
A few nights ago. He saw me too.
Where was Mummy when he was crying?
She'd gone out.
he's sort of the victim in this problem. Like, oh my god. Now, as I mentioned before, he is the one to reveal this information that would have probably changed everything later on in the movie. Later on, we get this doctor that, again, looks shady and does this.
Wait. No, it's fine. No, just relax.
Do you know how security works? Oh my fucking god. And what is this interaction?
Wait.
Like, what? You showed her boobs and the guy was... What was supposed to happen? But again, the movie goes out of its way. To show that it's not him. And talking about this big shot, it would actually work if he would be the killer. He had the resources. He had, the pull in the police to make them look the other way. He had, like motives. He had someone to hire. There could be a lot more sensical approach to the overall story.
Idiot.
What? Are they?
But he turns out to be just a guy who cheats, who likes women. Bad. He's not even portrayed as doing anything except this thing.
Not at all.
If someone ever does this to you, call the police, call the Ghostbusters, call Jesus. No one does that. That's not that. This is insane behavior. I'm going insane. But the movie nearly makes it like okay, right? Like it sets up a sequence, and you're like, oh wow, what if he's the killer? And there is a killer, but the movie immediately shows that the killer and this guy's speech is happening at the same time, which just kind of beats the point. And also at this point, the movie actually shows the killer's face for a second, so that's basically it. I don't know if it was on purpose or it was just an editing mistake, but there's a lot of shit like that in this movie. So not only there are large parts of the movie where there's no suspect at all, not only does the movie like go out of its way to provide ample of evidence that all the red herrings are just red herrings and not the real murderers, the police never investigates the murder weapon. A super weird tool that can cut a head clean off. It's not that easy actually, and you would need a specific tool to do it cleanly. So number one, that would say that the killer has money or experience or is from the like higher status, right? And the way the film is edited, you immediately understand that the killer needs to be either a doctor or someone who has like some medical things. So every single red herring falls off, and you're like, oh, this guy is a doctor, right? Yeah, he's the killer. Not because he has to be the killer, because he has medical knowledge and he fits the frame. No, because there's no one else. Okay, there's literally no one else in the movie that can be the killer.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
What's next? Well, how about a fistful of stupidity? Look, maybe because of this tone or the way it was cut, but this movie has just so much stupid in it. First, you know what always makes me afraid of a killer and, think that he is really smart? When he draws Snowman like this. Are you serious now? I could draw shit like this, and I'm terrible at drawing. How about a sketch here, right? Like, why not make it a weird effed up sketch to indicate some sort of sophistication or talent on the super hard to catch killer? It now looks like a child did it. And sure, we can say, well, the killer is trying to throw off the police. Being in higher education position, he's making it look like an idiot is doing this. But then why taunt the police at all? Well, specifically Harry. Make the scene look like the idiot's doing and don't get involved if you don't want to get caught?
Let's try again. Was it right for Sylvia Otterson to kill her unborn child?
Right, think about it this way. You're a police officer. You get a letter from a killer that has no fingerprints, no indicators, nothing you can follow. And it's from a killer that is evading every police effort. But the text is written to look like this. What would be your first thought? Oh, he's throwing us off, right? He's playing with us. So we should concentrate on the opposite. Because if you're this bad at drawing and writing, you probably go to be bad at making sure you leave no traces on the letter. And also, if the killer is trying to do this, why use a super rare paper? Why not just regular everyday leather paper? The one you can find in every home.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
Second, have you, ever heard of a handgun go off in an apartment building? Do you know why people in shooting ranges wear headphones? Because shooting a gun is a crazy loud action. Even if the bullet is magically caught by something? Wait. It goes straight through it and it should be... Does it just disappear? What the hell? So, not only should this guy hear it and be startled by it, by a gun, but half of the building should be either calling the police or running over here. Harry just discharged a gun in a residential building. You don't just do that. It's not like just, oopsies doopsies. And what the fuck is this guy? He should see the gun in Harry's hand, like he's not moving his hand to hide it. So maybe react to it or maybe say something. It's a guy holding a gun pointing at you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This movie is the stupid ass boomer type where anyone with tattoos, emo, goth styles, or whatever are just crazy people who don't react to anything. Ooh. Sure, fuck off.
Dry rot throughout the whole building, and I'm afraid we found some mold behind the walls.
Aspergillus. Toxic.
Third, the movie spends so much time talking about this device. Like, so much time. Which is, and you know where this is going, absolutely pointless to the movie. Like, if you throw it out, replacing it with any smartphone or simple camera. Oh, by the way, they have smartphones in the movie. Just so you know, they have regular, normal smartphones, but instead they choose to use this device. But the worst thing about this device is this scene. You know the skit.
There. Sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Great. Perfect secret recording device. No one will ever notice this giant black cube sitting on the shelf. And it even has a huge lens. You know that Soviets had cameras and umbrellas, books, hell, like in weird fucking things, like small things. So why the hell would a huge, bulky device would be a good one for spying? Like, imagine saying, for your next mission, you'll need to infiltrate the fire village. But before you go, take your Toshiba satellite S105 with you.
From version 3.6 to version 4.0 allows you to manually push the data back to the server using the cellular network.
And you know what? I need to talk to the fucking person who thought that this device is somehow an interesting part of the story or necessary at all. I mean, no one is going to watch a movie like Snowman thinking, oh boy, I wonder what sci-fi technology are they going to use this time. The funniest thing about this, it doesn't even matter. Like, you can remove it entirely because it is sort of used to film something and then used to remove the film itself. And the only thing it actually adds to the story, the interview, could have been done with any recording device, any sound device, because it's not the visuals that are the giveaway, but the audio. So why do you need a laptop?
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Sir, I'm just trying to find your wife. Please help me.
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Also, look at the scene. Right? Okay, I'm gonna show you my edit, okay?
I better go. Thank you.
He cried last week.
Does it feel natural? Is it okay? Right? Now I'm gonna show you the original.
Why did you build the snowman facing the house?
I didn't build a snowman.
That last part felt weird, right? Like I actually edited out and switched them around. Yeah, I think the conversation originally ended here.
He cried last week.
And then they realized that they showed the snowman a few times, but actually didn't address it here. So what they did is when they're showing the girl, Harry is overdubbed asking the question, and then they're showing Harry, and the girl answers. Because look at this. Harry doesn't really react to the answer, right? He just smiles, doesn't ask any questions furthermore, or doesn't interact anymore. He just,
I didn't build a snowman.
And if you put these scenes like together, one just looks like it's zoom in. So I think they ran out of footage and they had to reuse the basically ending twice. Yay, what a quality mark. What a quality mark. On top of that, You thought that this is a detective story, right? That it's going to focus on the killer, the cases, the detective, and not going to waste your time. Well, you thought wrong. Because apart from the whole device thing, we have a side story to answer who will host the next Winter Games. No, not Olympics. They probably couldn't use the title, so they went with World Winter Games.
If the World Cup goes to Beijing or Denver or Montreal, because I believe in my heart, tonight, Oslo has already won.
And this shit gets so much time. Oh, really? Wow. What a cool story. Oslo has already won. Nice. Hey, remember there was a killer loose? And it goes on and on to be just for nothing. The killer isn't related with these games. Harry isn't related with these games. And it's a fictional thing that we don't even have like a reference to. So, okay, saying Oslo will hold the next Winter Games means what? Nothing? That doesn't even mean anything to our characters except this rich guy. That's it. Do you want to watch a detective story because you're interested in winter sports and police device improvements? I don't, but hey. You thought we were done? Oh no, the movie decides to break the laws of physics and reality. No. Okay, listen to me. Look at this picture, okay? You take a very good look at it and tell me how a human being made this snowman imprint on a car, even adding eyes without disturbing the snow around him. Did he carry ladders or hire a crane? Hell, if you live somewhere where there is snow, try to make it and send me the video. It's impossible. It's impossible, let alone being done by someone smart and trying to avoid getting caught in a residential area.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
Like, remember, the more time you spend rolling snow and making this shit, the higher chances of someone seeing you. Cameras, anything. This doesn't sound like a smart move to me, if you ask. How about this? Harry visits a woman and learns that it was a false call. So he heads back. Then, while he is driving, he gets a call to get back to the woman. This time, it's real. So how much time do you think it passes from when Harry leaves this woman to when the dispatch gets a call? Well, the movie actually says where we're going, and it's about 3.5 hour ride, and they seem to be 50-60% back, so 2 hours at best. So in the span of these 2 hours, the killer had the time to kill this woman, go all the way here, right here, go down this crazy climb where people actually need climbing gear, and then once he done climbing down, he built a snowman here somehow, put the head on the snowman, climbed back, removed any evidence of him being there. This includes killing a chicken to cover his blood, which is probably the most interesting and cohesive part of this movie.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
But do you see what I'm talking about? This is not only unnecessarily stupid and time-consuming, but to say that the killer didn't leave any trace of doing this, it's ludicrous. And sure, the killer might control when he places the second call, but as the movie states...
No. He's gone to the station to pick up my sister. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, so how can he be sure? And also, how can he be sure that they didn't stop somewhere to grab a snack or something? They might be, closer than he thinks. It's... And wait, look at this. Look at this. The footprints are on the snow on top of it, right? And these are just normal footprints, not snowshoes. But then Harry walks like this. What? How did the murderer leave this? What? And once again, why climb here to leave the head like here? Just build a snowman and get out of there.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
The next insanity is this scene.
Can I keep this? No. Can I keep this? Yeah, sure.
Hey, how about instead of doing this honestly stupid ass fuck back and forth exchange, you did something interesting? Like Harry could remind this guy of the case they worked with, where he saved his ass or did him a favor, sort of giving more story to these two characters and not just being an annoying, nagging asshole. Damn, with arguing skills like this, Harry could have solved this case like 5 hours ago. Also, this movie acts like this guy is like super duper important, big thing, but he doesn't do anything and just like, fuck off, get the fuck out of my... Now, if you watch the movie, tell me, doesn't it feel like Harry and his partners are the only cops in the entire country? Like they are the only ones to get called to check on or find something?
I'm going to be with you in 2 minutes, okay? Her husband specifically asked for you.
Also, okay, so can anyone just place a missing person report? Like, if you call police and say, hey, I'm the husband of this person and I want to report this, do they just like, yes, got it, okay? Or do you have to like, give some sort of identification? Because if the killer did it, then how was he able to do that? And can you also request certain officers? Like if I said, hey, the person is missing, I want this officer from a town 5 hours from here, would they just be like, yeah, sure, I guess? Wouldn't there be an officer? Wouldn't there be a phone call? Right? Like, they chose to drive 3 hours, 4 basically, right? So that's basically entire day to check on a missing person's case. Wouldn't there be another officer who could do that? A neighbor? A phone line? Again, we have smartphones in the movie, okay? we're not in like medieval ages, okay? But to add to that, look what actually happens. He gets a call that a person is missing. His partner comes, picks him up, because I guess it's important. Then they drive his not son to his not wife. They talk, and then he says, okay, take me back home. We're going there tomorrow. So why aren't you going it now? So why aren't you going now? I thought she made it like important, and was she just your taxi? Oh my god, Jesus.
Take me home. We'll go in the morning.
And to circle back again, it feels like there are no people anywhere, right? Like most of these kills and things like that happen in like highly crowded places, right? There are neighbors around, and these aren't like a shack in a forest, right? Like where there's no security and everything. These are like modern houses which should have each like cameras, door cameras, ring cam. the killer can easily move in this hugely secure mansion, which should have like people all around. So it feels like unless Harry Hole sees the killer or any of his action, then he can actually act freely. He can go wherever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. He has every means. He has all the time in the world unless Harry gets to him. I mean, this makes the story feel less like an actual normal flow of events, more just things happening one after another. Sometimes those things are connected, other times not. Who gives a shit? The filmmakers didn't, so, huh?
Where's Katrine? I received this. It's personal.
Well, okay. Let's reveal the big thing. The most important thing about this movie and why I think it's the most insulting film out there. Are you ready, kids? Well, it's missing up to 50% of the intended material. Yay! Yep. That's it. It's a fucking incomplete movie that pretended to be, well, like 100% done, bro. Believe me.
The pattern is disturbing.
You just don't know anything about movies, okay? And I'm not even talking about a bunch of necessary footage being cut out. Nope, it wasn't even filmed.
I want to repeat that. Slowly, 50% of this movie wasn't even filmed, meaning it never existed.
So now, every character's stupidity, bad red herring, or seemingly missing detective aspect of this, detective story could be attributed to this.
Hey!
But I don't know. After everything I've told you, do you think that, adding back that 50% would make it a good movie? Don't get me wrong, it would make it better. But after watching it like 4 times maybe, Jesus, it's really painful. The problem seems to be rooted in the entire premise and the idea to change the story's tone as well as the plot points for, once again, no apparent fucking reason. And also, you could take the L, right? You say, hey, we messed up, right? We're going to learn from these mistakes and make a better movie next time. Or we're going to spend the X amount of time reshooting and remaking the movie to its 100 full completion, right? But now I don't even see how to feel about these creators anymore. You basically participated in a scam. Oh, sure, scamming in art is difficult to pinpoint, but come on, dude. So yeah, The Snowman has a score of around 5 on IMDb. And this is probably one of only few instances where I have to sort of strongly disagree.
No matter who you are. Tell me.
I think it's the falling snow that sets the killer off.
Then who does he leave the snowman for?
And we're giving it the same score as fully completed projects. I mean, even if worse artistic ideas, they're at least completed, right? So yeah, no, that does not comply with me. More importantly, instead of spending lots of money advertising an unfinished movie, how about you finish the fucking movie? I mean, now it's great. You released the movie like 400 people saw, and for the rest of human existence, every single soul with like good taste in movies will mock you. What a good job, and they should mock you. Fuck you. And I'm gonna be spicy here, like really spicy here. Even like going through the source material, I don't understand why this is an adaptation. Do we not have anything left? Sorry, okay, I might have limited exposure to these kinds of books, but the ones I've read had more, I don't know, passion, flow, fun ideas in them. This is just a pathetic mommy loser who kills and then plays with snow. Yeah, the bad guy is a pathetic loser. But guess what? Our main guy is also a pathetic loser. Wow. Maybe it's me, but I'm kind of tired of shitty loser protagonists that we somehow have to imagine are cool. Like, fuck off, you're an alcoholic that can't keep your shit together and can't solve a basic case or ask, I don't know, fucking basic questions. And then the movie acts like you're some kind of, oh, a legend, a master detective. Just like listen to this.
You know, when I first saw your picture in the papers, with all those medals.
So, did you really intended to be with this woman? Did you use her to get to Harry? And was just seeing him in a photo with medals enough to dedicate your existence to him? Look, when I heard that the killer is doing this crazy personal stuff because of Harry, it's even more pathetic. You're trying to stop or, I don't know, somehow destroy this great Harry Hole, the detective that we saw always drunk and not solving any crimes or actually doing anything.
Ah, great Harry Hole.
Next up, let me show you these old detective scenes.
Why did you come to me? I've been suspended.
What I can do.
Need some information on a patient, Layla Orson. But perhaps she was there for an abortion? Well, then I'll come down there with a fucking warrant myself.
Yeah, you'll probably notice that it's dubbed, and quite badly. He doesn't speak that much, to be fair, and I didn't mind Val Kilmer's dub. But also, was it the best dub you could find? The best dub you could do?
Well, then I'll come down there with a fucking warrant myself.
For the love of God, tell Michael Fassbender to have one charismatic scene, or at least, I don't know, like try to look invested, like he cares. Jesus. Older actors here can do great work. The locations look good and magical. The whole snow and creating something from it as a theme works perfectly fine. The current movie feels like a book adaptation where they took out the most interesting, juicy parts. That's why it also feels so slow and like nothing actually happened. So yeah, I understand that watching Snowman without prior knowledge, it can look like another generic movie. It could have been crazy detective story with cold twists and turns, but now it's a Harry Hole story that also features a killer somewhere for some reason doing some stuff because Harry was legendary in other movies that we didn't see. Cool.
He was watching us the whole time. He's playing games.
And that is it. I'm done. I can't give any more of my time to this fucking movie, and it's bad and insulting. I have like half an hour more of this video I want to cover, but I'm gonna cut it here, okay? It's I just wanted to get all the rage out of my system, and this movie has been bugging me for for years. It's a unique experience. It's, yeah, so I might be recommending it for you because of its uniqueness, if you like bad movies, that is. So okay, thanks for watching this video. Okay, who am I kidding? No one is actually watching these videos. So to all my ghosts there, I say thanks for ghosting me. What? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm losing my mind again. Okay, I will see you next time, hopefully without any snow and any men. And what?